can you know what your strengths are? How can you be sure of the areas where you are skilled, where you have strengths, where the kind of environments where you flourish, and the kind of work that you can do that you flourish, the kind of people that you do best with, impacting and influencing? Well, there's lots of different ways to find that out and to become really, really sure of what your strengths are. And I'm a great believer in this because I think sometimes we can tend to look at what we're weak at and constantly be trying to develop those areas. But actually, looking at our strengths, looking at what makes us flourish, what brings us alive, what gives us energy, and really playing to those strengths and designing our work life, designing our life around playing to those strengths is a great way of knowing that we're going to reach the potential that we really can do. Now, I'm not saying we don't ignore the weaknesses, but I'm just saying that sometimes we don't spend enough time really knowing what our strengths are and how we can operate from that place of being in our strengths. So I just want to give you the lowdown on just some of the ways that I help clients to really understand their strengths. The first thing I want to say is that our strengths are about our skills, but there's an awful lot more to them than just our skills. And you could call these skills as well, but we have strengths in the natural, we have ways that we can, we have subjects that we were good at school, we have particular strengths that we've used at work. Some of us are really good on computers, some of us are really good at writing and communication skills. These are all great strengths for us to know that we have. But the other area is we have giftings and strengths that are so natural to us that we were born with that we probably have never actually examined them and never realised we have them. For example, we may naturally have rapport with certain types of people, certain types of audiences, and that's a really key point because that's something that God's given us. That's favour on our life, and that's a strength, and that will actually point towards our purpose as well. So, and there's other areas as well that maybe where we work and we operate informally. The areas that people come to us, that people are drawn to us, and that they constantly draw from us. Think about your friends, think about your family. What are the things that they consider that you're good at? What do people keep coming to you for? What are they drawing on from you? So there's all different types of strengths. And one thing that we can do is we can follow a structure that I love to use in coaching. I call it past, present, future to make it simple. But first of all, look back to the past and look back to where you were most resonant. The times in your life where you were naturally flowing, where you had passion, where you were excited, where you were energized. What were those events in your life? What were those times in your life? Because the chances are those are the times when you're going to be operating in some kind of strength that you have, some kind of talent, some kind of gifting, some kind of anointing even possibly, like a spiritual anointing. So one way you can do this is just looking back at what I call those past resonant events, those peak moments in your life when you were fully you, where you were firing on all cylinders, so to say, and you were fully alive, you were flourishing. And there's a lot we can learn from those times. There's lots of different coaching exercises I do on it. But in terms of your strength, what were you doing? What were you strong at? What were you bringing to that situation? And that is a really great clue to your strength. The other area to look at is obviously the present. Where is it right now that you are the most confident? Where is it that you're operating that you know that you're strong and you're gifted in? Because there's bound to be some areas. That's one clue. And then one of my favourite is going into the future. So think about your dreams, think about your aspirations, think about vision that you could have for the future, of where you want to be. And it may be something that you're not trained in, it may be something that you're not familiar with, it may be something completely new, but you would just love to do that. And when you close your eyes and when you think about it, you can actually imagine yourself in the future in that kind of role. And it could be something crazy that you think, I would never, I can't ever see that ever happening to me. I can't ever see that opportunity happening. But you know what? There's clues in that picture, that future picture. Let's call it a future resonant picture, a future dream, that actually point towards not just your purpose, but also your strengths and what you would be good at. Because where we have passion in our heart, where we've dreamt something, where we actually feel compelled into something, where we have a drawing towards something, that's something in our heart, and God would not have laid it on our heart. It would not be on our heart if He hadn't given us the capacity, and if He hadn't given us the strength and the skills to be able to do it. So that to me is really exciting. This is one area that I love coaching people in, is helping them to discover those unrealised areas of potential for the future as well. So how can you know what your strengths are? Look at the past where you flourished, look at the present where you are gifted and strong and confident, and look at the future where you want to be, and look at what strengths you would be operating to be in that place as well. It's a great place to start to really understand what your strengths are and what they could be. Bless you.